Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 133 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor. We got no Damon this week. Damon is currently playing foot golf at Disney. Literally drove all the way to Disney just to play foot golf.
Not jealous at all.
I mean, I know, Trevor, right? Like, this, like, hurts you deeply, right? And, like, it probably annoys you that he's only playing foot golf and doing nothing else.
Just being there, like, even if he was just standing there for a day, I would be upset.
I'm just baffled. Like, how do you drive all the way to Disney and just play? Like, I understand he's excited to play foot golf, and I'm excited to hear how his foot golf goes, but I don't know. It feels like a really long drive just to play 9 holes of foot golf.
I think it was more a matter of just an opportunity that he took. But
to get out of the house and get away for a little bit, yeah.
And the thing is, we'll hear about this when he gets back. But in the meantime,
look at that! Look at that transition. That was excellent.
I was trying to cue you.
So, if you're part of our group and if you've been around, Becky Wells has been a big part of our group for a while and has been a listener for a long time. I don't know how long, Becky. How long have you listened to us for?
It's been almost 2 years, I think. And
that's pretty good.
Derek DeBoer from DVC Resale Market plugged himself being on your show. So I'm pretty sure it was his self-promotion there to be like, I'm on this, you should listen. Nice. And then I was hooked, like, regardless of him talking, because that's what it is. But
listen, Derek's entertaining, but we're even more entertaining. Well, according to some people, other people think we're boring. So but
those reviews
tough. They're tough, right? They hurt us deep. They cut deep. But we're so excited to have Becky on. Becky, it's funny because in the last episode we mentioned Damon was going to be out a lot this summer. I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of. I'm not even kidding, and I really appreciate everybody that emailed us. Very, very kind of all of you, and I really do want to bring everybody I can on the show. Becky's kind of a special case because I've known, I say I've known, but Becky, we've emailed quite a bit, and we've had, and also didn't hurt that Derek sent an email saying, yeah, you should absolutely have Becky on the show. So that also was a nice touch by you to have somebody else recommend you. So
thanks.
Especially Derek, who I've known for quite a while now, and
he loves you guys.
I love Derek too. So
I really appreciate it, guys. I'm super excited, and I was messaging him like, I'm gonna tell them that I should be on their show, and then I'm going to say you can come too. And
well, we didn't invite
I'll
Derek.
just vouch for you.
Yeah, we didn't invite Derek. Derek's not invited.
I mean, that's on him.
We've had Derek on a lot. We probably need to get him back on. He's probably due, but we're excited to have you today. I was saying before we started recording that you're the Damon replacement, so the bar is very low for you. So you're gonna knock this. You've already knocked it out of the park, Becky. Yes.
I'll try to be. I don't want to say curmudgeonly because that's wrong. But
oh no,
no,
I don't need bad reviews saying get Becky off the show. Would be 5 stars if no Becky.
Oh gosh, no. I'm so entertained by the dynamic you all three have, and it's funny because I identify with each of you for different reasons completely, and I completely agree with some stuff that Damon will say that everybody thinks he's crazy for. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, that's a good way to start. It's so funny because so many people want to meet up with Damon, and he's just like, listen, guys, all I'm doing is playing foot golf. If you want to show up at the golf course and meet me, then go ahead. But outside of that, we're not meeting up. So. I do want to start off here too. We do have some things happening right now, right? So what I mean by that is we've been talking about the Haunted River Country shirt forever now, and I'm sure some of you are starting to believe that it doesn't exist.
It's haunted, or it's just a ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, we just made it up. We are in the very, very final stages of this. I will say we will have it next week. I think that's legit, right, Trevor?
I think that's fair. I can't see anything else stopping this at this point.
Us, yeah. We have the final design. We just need to get it on our store, and we're going to send that store out to everybody. So there shouldn't be anything that stops us now. I hope not. Nothing can stop us now, right? But yeah, so hopefully that will be next week. I'm not going to tell you when yet, but we will post it, obviously.
So stay tuned.
Yeah. The other thing is we are still working on the Patreon. We just take forever to do everything, right? I mean, but this one's taking a little bit longer because one of the things we're going to do, and I'll announce this, Trevor. I think we can announce this, right? So we're going to make a special edition of our logo, and we're going to have merch as part of our Patreon. So for each level of our Patreon, you get a different piece of merch, and that's going to be with a special logo that we're going to create,
an exclusive logo that you haven't seen yet. So yeah, it's exciting. And you said, can you announce this now? If you didn't, Damon would have done it anyway if he was here.
Probably.
So
that's true. Especially since we don't have the logo yet. But it's funny. I feel like I should just use the original logo, like the old logo. We could just do that. That's that. I mean, you can't get that anywhere anymore, right?
The old. What was it? The
Disney,
circle? The Walt Disney Railroad.
Yeah. The one that I made in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Before we actually got a legit logo. So, but yeah, so those are two things that are coming soon. The Patreon's also going to include things like, we're going to open up a Discord channel so that we can, you guys can talk to us more often, kind of on the fly. So that'll be fun too. And then you're going to get access to things like show notes and, some other fun stuff. So, it's going to be fun. We don't want to give you we don't want to do a Patreon where it's just like, hey, give us $10 and we give you nothing. Right.
Yeah.
That's no fun. We want you guys to have stuff. So, that's what we're going to do. And TBD on when that's going to happen, probably the next month or two here. I'm not going to tell you exactly when. And we are still trying to figure out a meetup for next year too. That is something else we are going to do. And we're excited about that too. So, okay. So let's get into stuff. Let's get into things.
All right. Let's
I've talked a lot. Do you want to do
questions.
Jeremy's? Yeah. You do Jeremy's.
So Jeremy says, have you ever exaggerated a setback at WDW for a little extra pixie dust from a cast member? I am shocked and appalled that you would say no.
The answer is yes.
No. Yeah, right. Honestly, myself, no, because I'm a firm believer in you get, the old saying of, you get more flies with honey than vinegar. I feel that every time I've ever gotten pixie dust, it's been because even when something is inconvenienced to me, I've made sure to make a point of, letting the cast members know that it's not their fault. And it's like, I've never pushed them on it. And I find that always comes back some way towards me. So that's the way that I approach it, is that I never exaggerate anything, because I find if you're just laid back and generally nicer about it, you tend to get a better result, or at least that's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah. I'm going to have Becky go before I tell.
I kind of was not necessarily surprised at this interesting question from Jeremy, because he's always good for some interesting tidbit there. I kind of agree with Trevor. It's almost like the opposite. My family loves cast members, and my kids love to make little cards and take a tiny present or something and try to make the day of somebody else when we're there. That's like one of their favorite. They'll each get, 3 items or whatever over the course of our trip, and they can choose their 3 favorite cast members that did something nice or whatever. And so we kind of flip it the other way. I don't know. I don't like to expect anything out of anyone other than the basic, they're doing their job. But, expecting to get something extra makes it stupid. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we do maybe the opposite of, trying to create a setback on our own. That's insanity. So.
Well,
right,
I think what Jeremy's saying is, it's not that you create a setback. It's when, something little happened, like, somebody forgot a drink or something with your meal, and, blowing it up out of proportions, right? Like,
oh, sure.
That's, yeah.
No.
All right, so I will tell my story with shame, but not really. Actually, so I think I've told this before, right? So in general, I agree with both of you, right? So like your general premise, I am always extraordinarily nice to cast members. They're people. They have bad days sometimes. Sometimes things are out of their control. You know, I think I got mad at a DVC cast member one time and was just like mad about the situation and like specifically said, it was like, listen, I know this isn't your fault, but I'm still mad. Like, you know, like that kind of thing. But so on my honeymoon, right, I've told this story before. We had the concierge service, right? And so they had booked a lot of stuff for us, which, you know, is not something that I typically allow. But in this case, I did. And they made a pretty big mistake. They had screwed up one of our reservations to the point where we were rushing to get to this reservation, very stressed. We like rushed through dinner. It was a horse-drawn carriage, you know, the one through Fort Wilderness. That was what they'd booked for us. And we got there and they were like, well, we don't have your reservation, right? And I had an email like saying like, this is when your reservation was, right? So I, in the heat of the moment, annoyed that my romantic evening had been destroyed by the concierge mistake, wrote an email to the concierge, and I might have used the term "you ruined my honeymoon," maybe, even though it really didn't, you know.
Yeah.
But I was mad. It was the heat of the moment. It was, you know, I was at the time. It was really frustrating because we had literally raced through our dinner. We raced over to Fort Wilderness, and then for them to be like, "What are you talking about? We don't have that for you," and we were really looking forward to it. So it was, you know, I don't think it was an exaggeration at the time. We were pretty upset about it, you know. So but I mean, I guess it was maybe a little bit of exaggeration. But that being said, that concierge, and truthfully, they made a pretty bad mistake. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't like our mistake or something that was out of their control. It was in their control. They made an actual mistake. So fast forward, you know, we ended up like, I mean, they went way over the top, and maybe it's just because it's concierge, but like they gave us like $300 or $400 credit. They gave us a free. They refunded our tour that we had the next day. They gave us a free Magic Kingdom fireworks cruise. Like they went over the top, and maybe it was just because it was like my honeymoon, and because, you know, I don't think it was necessarily because I said that my honeymoon was ruined, but I think it was because they made a mistake and because it was concierge and because it was my honeymoon. So
yeah, I think that was probably one of those perfect storm things where, like you said, it's, you know, one, it's concierge, two, honeymoons are kind of a big deal and they want to make sure that they don't leave a bad taste in people's mouths. So I can see why they would have swung really hard the other way to try and compensate for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the only question is, you know, whether or not you said you ruined my honeymoon, you know, it's hard to say whether that statement was the trigger for them to do everything or not.
Well, yeah, it is hard to say. And truth be told, after I sent the email, I remember I said to my wife, I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have sent that. I really should have thought about that a little bit, because I felt bad. I felt bad after I sent it. Like right. It was probably harsher than it needed to be, but it was, like I said, it was kind of a stressful evening getting this done. And it was, you know, a thing that was important to us. We actually had, and I don't even know if they still do this, but we had a Disney registry, right? So we had an actual Disney registry for our wedding where people could pay for things for our honeymoon, which was really cool. So like they could pay, like, you know, we had like things listed on there, like the carriage ride, and, you know, it was like $50 or whatever it was. And somebody could, as their gift, pay for that for us. It was pretty cool. I don't know if they do that anymore. I really don't. But because that was a service that was offered through Disney, and that was a thing we did. So
that sounds awesome. We honeymooned at Disney too, but we were at Shades of Green, so we didn't get anything. And what we did, we got a hurricane, and it shut everything down. This was 17 years ago, Hurricane Charlie. So we got stranded, but that's all.
You're there actually at the same time as so our friends did their honeymoon and got hit by Hurricane Charlie as well. Yeah. We were there the year before for our honeymoon, but again, to tell how great our I mean, back then we were like 23 years old. So we stayed at the All-Stars and that was our honeymoon.
That was the first time I had ever been to anything Disney. So I was so excited. I'm like, something at Disney World? And it was like $100. And I'm poor airman in the military. Yeah. So we jumped at it and we had a great time. But we definitely missed out on a couple of days of an already really, really short trip. And the worst part, really, was that my job in the Air Force was a weather forecaster. So I had to eat a lot of crow on that. But to be fair, I was stationed in Europe and we did not forecast for America. So I didn't bother to check that.
You had an out.
Right.
You're a DVC member now, though, right? Like you say DVC now, Becky, or you say Shades of Green?
No, I mean, if I'm going on a quick trip and there's nothing available, I'll still stay there. Heck yeah, those rooms are great. But we became DVC members about 2 years ago. Okay. It was just cheaper than getting 2 rooms at Pop Century. So,
like, where do you own at? I don't know if you've told me this before.
Oh, we're at Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Villas, yeah. So
right over there with me, co-owner with
Yep. We share like maybe like one toilet paper roll away from each other. I don't know.
Yeah, that's I think at this point with the amount of points I have, I maybe have the 2 screws that screw in one of the doorknobs of one of the closets. But I'm getting there. So
nice.
Anyway, okay. Well, that was a good question, Jerry. I liked it. I mean, listen, in general, though, I do feel if you're going to yell at a cast member, you're not going to get anything, right? Yeah. Like, and you're just not going to. Like, if you're nice, then maybe you will.
Sorry, did you want to go, Becky, or did you have something to say on that?
Oh, I was just agreeing that, don't yell at them. They won't help you.
I was just going to highlight that, we know that cast members, if people are really above and beyond like difficult, they will give them things to appease them just to get them out of the situation. But darn well that, for the person that they gave them something to make them go away, for the people that were nice to them, that's where you hear about the more awesome stuff that happens.
Absolutely.
Like that's what I think people don't necessarily understand is that, you can technically get free stuff for just being a jerk all the time. But if you're nice, that's when, you hear people, hey, my room got upgraded to a 2-bedroom. Like,
yeah. I feel like I want to go back in my email history. I'm sure that email is still available somewhere. Because I don't remember what I wrote.
I wouldn't post that anywhere, honestly.
No, I'm not gonna post it. I want to look at it for my own, remember what I wrote, because I was also probably typing it on my phone. I don't think I think it was, that was still smartphone time, right? So but I'm pretty sure I was pounding it out on my phone and, writing this email. So, I can't imagine it was that long, but anyway.
Let's move on here so I like Anthony's question.
I mean, go ahead.
Favorite non-park DVC resort and why is it Vero Beach?
Well, what if it's not though? I mean, I haven't stayed at Vero. I stayed at Hilton Head, and Hilton Head's fantastic.
I guess I've never actually stayed at Grand California doesn't count, does it?
No,
because
it still counts.
It's because it's Disneyland. Yeah. Okay. So I've never stayed at a non-park DVC resort then. So
non-park DVC, because there's only 2, right? I mean,
there's Alani.
Oh, Alani. There's 3. Yeah, there's 3. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm forgetting Alani. Considering I've only stayed at Hilton Head, I can really only comment on Hilton Head because I will say Hilton Head is the nicest cast members I've ever come across. All across the board, everybody's super nice. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't stayed at Vero. I heard it's very nice. I just have never been. So
okay.
I don't know.
We haven't done any of that.
Yeah, I think conceptually maybe Alani would be my favorite only because I like the idea of I know it's not like a private resort, but somewhere, it's kind of separated from everything else. Like it's not near any major theme parks or anything. And it seems like it has enough going on there that, you could definitely enjoy a good 3 or 4 days there. But but the biggest problem for me is getting to Hawaii, which is
that's
really expensive from here.
It's hard for everybody. It'd be expensive for me too.
Yeah, we got 7 tickets to get, so that's not really happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a long flight with 7 people too.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to do that. I mean, that's just a long flight. I would love to go to Alani, and the only thing I've heard about Alani that's a little difficult, I've heard the dining is not great there. Like, there's not a lot of options. But
Right.
yeah, and then plus it's just expensive in general to like, do anything in Hawaii. So, but I do want to go to Alani at some point, though. That is on the list for sure. All right. So we didn't have a good answer to that. Sorry about that, Anthony, but I put it on there anyway. Okay. James says, having never gone to WDW in December, I need to know what should be on my must-do list. This is something we can help you with, right? So first of all, I think it depends on what you're into, but I'm hoping that this year that they do the gingerbread houses again. Because I don't know if, the gingerbread houses are amazing, right? Like, you could just resort hop and go check out the gingerbread houses.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would have said too.
Is the ginger, right?
Resort hopping is literally what go see all the different decorations. You could spend a whole day or two just doing that.
Absolutely. And then I would say the Christmas themed shows, the holiday themed shows, I think you need to do, right? All the different things that are going on, like the decorations and everything, are amazing. I'm trying to think of some like special Christmassy stuff.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Okay. So I guess the two things that stick out to me is, obviously there's the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party in Magic Kingdom, but Epcot actually has around the wilderness the World Showcase. You'll see like Santas from different countries, or like they'll have like these performers portraying Santa from different areas of the world, which I think stuff like that is kind of interesting, and maybe it might be a little bit low key that people miss out on.
No, that's a great recommendation.
Yeah, the holidays around the world is amazing.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah.
Well, and now they do like a food and wine that's like specific to the holidays now at Epcot, right? So like that's there too. You could eat around the world, holiday style.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, just the decorations in general. I mean, the decorations are crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could also, besides gingerbread house resort hopping, just go for the different trees and the different resorts too. I mean, that's an amazing thing too.
Yeah,
I agree.
The Wilderness Lodge tree blew me away when we were there in 2019. Like, I was so impressed just walking into the lobby and seeing that. Like,
oh, it's incredible. Well, it's funny you say that, because I remember that. I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but I remember we were, for Christmas one year, we were there in December. We were like 2 weeks before Christmas, and we went to Whispering Canyon. We were staying at Wilderness Lodge, and we were at Whispering Canyon, and the waitress told us, was like, I saw the waitress go over to one of the other waiters and say that they had to be quiet because the carolers were coming in to start singing. And then, like, a second later, somebody, one of the other waiters comes out and starts yelling about something, like, just starts doing the Whispering Canyon thing, and it was just literally just really funny, because the person was like, we got to keep it quiet because the carolers are coming. And then this person is just like, yeah, like, it's just the ridiculousness of Whispering Canyon, and then mixed with like these amazing carolers in the lobby. That kind of stuff is so cool how they do. I hope they do all that this year, where they have that kind of stuff where just people are around singing, and the different trees, and just going to all the different trees and all the different parks. They have the tree trail usually. I think they had that at Disney Springs.
Yep.
But the different trees, every tree has unique stuff on it that's themed to the place that it is, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree that the trees in and out of the parks and the resorts are really, really cool. And one of the things I was thinking, take pictures of them, even if you don't pose in front of them, just take a quick snap of it. I had something almost a little more like a recommendation on maybe how to dress, but I guess I don't know who James is or where he's from.
Well, that's all right. Still give a recommendation.
Go for it.
It can help other people.
Depending on like where you're from, December is really cold to some people in Florida, not me. But, like usually bring a hoodie for the morning or the evening, or a hat. And some people bring like stretchy gloves because they think it's freezing. And it's kind of that wet cold where it's not comfortable, but within 10 minutes, you'll just be sweating because it's hot. But I don't know. My family, when we go in December and January, we're swimming and we have the pool to ourselves. So I think bringing layers is a little more important in the winter time frame. But then it's fun. You can have like a Mickey scarf or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you could theme it up. Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's information he needs, but
no, that's great.
I have a bit of a story there, actually. I had some friends that I met up with in Disney World back in 2019, and they come from a bunch of different areas. We actually all were like, we played a game online together, but we met in Magic Kingdom for a day just to, actually meet face to face and everything. And that happened to be one of those cold days in January. And of course, me and the one other person that was from Canada brought hoodies and gloves and stuff like you were talking about, Becky, but nobody else did. And so it resulted in half of them buying sweaters at various gift shops as we were wandering around the park. And then some of them actually bought blankets so they just, like, one guy wrapped himself up in a Nightmare Before Christmas blanket, and we were walking around and he was walking around huddled up in this blanket for the evening. So yeah, dress for the weather is actually more important than you think in Florida.
I also think too, like, and I don't know if they're going to do special shows this year for like Christmas time, like, but like go to like the nighttime shows. I feel like there's very few things that are, I hate saying this, but like more magical than when you're on Main Street and it's dark out and then it starts snowing, in quotes. Or, I mean, they did it. They would do it at Hollywood Studios. There's a bunch of different shows where they do the snow, and there's just something about that that's just very cool and feels very magical.
I mean, you're probably going at that time for a reason. So
yeah. Seriously, there's so much to see, like a ton to see.
And you know what else is? Now that I'm thinking back to, like, honestly, being there at Christmas, we were there. Well, it was November 2019, but it was still Christmas time when we were there for the parties and everything. But the parade, the Christmas parade, when the gingerbread house float drives by and you get that gingerbread smell, was one of the most surreal things that I remember from Disney. Like, it was one of those, like, no, they didn't just do that. They didn't just, purposely cue the smell in the area to what was going by.
Yeah. It's hard to know what it's going to look like this year, right? Because, like, especially since it's the 50th, it will be going on. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, right?
I would hope that, even though the 50th starts in October, that, maybe by then, like, I know with Boo Bash and everything, they're kind of playing it safe. I'm really hoping that a lot of that stuff is back to normal by like mid-November, December.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't heard anything about the, why am I forgetting the name of the Mickey Christmas party? But we haven't heard we haven't heard if that's happening yet, right?
Exactly.
No. I mean, they haven't said yes or no to that, right? So could still be happening. I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if they're just, like you said, kind of testing the waters with the after hours Boo Bash.
Which seems to have been, I didn't put this on the agenda, by the way, but the fact that they're adding tickets to that kind of seems like a bad idea. I'm just saying, only because if you're paying that kind of price, you probably expect the parks to not be as busy. I don't know. Anyway, that's a tangent, but I'm just saying.
My husband and I we're going on our first trip without the kids since our honeymoon in September. Oh, wow. Yeah, and we're super excited. And I left it up to him if we should do the Boo Bash. I've been to 2 of the Not So Scary Halloween parties myself without any, my husband kicks me out and sends me on trips alone. It's amazing. So he's just made me really smart. I'm home with 5 kids. He's amazing. Lets me go. But so we're going together, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. We can dress up. And I was hesitant, but I'm like, if it is like after hours, I'm going to be so excited, and we can maybe not have to go to Magic Kingdom another day. And because our trip is very short. And so we got the tickets, And then a couple days later, they were adding people. I'm like, well, we'll see. I think we're early enough, and it's a Tuesday. I'm thinking we're probably good. But man, I'm going to be less than pleased if it's as busy as the last Halloween party I went to, because that was nuts and not worth it.
Just some food for thought with Boo Bash. You know, I have to wonder if the way that they've been approaching it is that they release tickets based on their current capacity, which, you know, factors in, you know, people coming in or capacity, but also how much staff they have available to man the parks.
100%.
And I wonder if what it is that, you know, they're expanding capacity in the park and they realize they have enough people there to support, you know, more people being at Boo Bash. But I feel like regardless of any of that, they probably still had a number in mind that it was going to be capped at anyway. But yeah, to your point, Becky, it could be if it's just like another not so scary Halloween party, which, you know, I feel the same way. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the parties, but they definitely do get overcrowded. Yeah, hopefully that's not the case for you when you're down there.
Yeah, well, we'll make it fun either way. Like I said, we honeymooned during a hurricane and we had fun splashing in puddles. So I mean, we'll be fine. We have no other kids to pay attention to. It was just the two of us being kids. So it'll be fine.
I like your explanation, Trevor, but part of me wants to believe in my head that they're just like, man, people are paying that much for this. Like, let's get some more money on. Yeah, like they're seeing dollar signs. There's some executive somewhere typing on like an old timey accounting machine going, yes, like, you know, like there's dollar signs flowing out, you know.
You're not wrong, Tom. I'm just trying to be positive. Sam.
No, I appreciate the positive. I think Trevor's actually right about this. I think he's right that they're adding more capacity and adding more people, and I do think that that's true, but I also think it's true that they're like, wow, this has been way cool. Like, I can't believe we're charging $130. I think it's 130, right? $130 for this, and everybody's paying for it and selling out left and right. Like, you know what I mean? I think they probably set it at that number thinking people weren't going to pay it, and then people paid it, you know? Right. So, yeah. But anyway, that was an aside. But yeah, listen, there is so much cool stuff to do at the parks, you know, during the holidays. We don't know what it's going to look like this year, but I think it's going to be closer to normal, and hopefully they have the gingerbread houses. Don't miss the gingerbread houses. They're amazing. And like we were saying before, Epcot is awesome. Magic Kingdom is awesome. All the resorts are awesome. I mean,
I just remembered Candlelight Processional. I can't believe I didn't remember that before. If they have that, how did I not? Yeah, that's at Epcot too.
But
that gets crazy.
Do we know?
I have no idea.
Again, these are all pending things. So I guess, again, for James, you know, we're talking about things that we know. Whether or not these things will be there this year is still up in the air.
Well, I feel like right around now is when they start like announcing like the narrators, right? Like I feel like it starts in the next like month or so here where they start announcing that stuff, you know? So maybe they will. I mean, you know, listen, there have been a lot of surprising announcements over the past couple of weeks here out of nowhere that everyone was like, oh, okay. Didn't see that coming. So, you know, who knows? Maybe they're just going to drop it on us one day and that's going to be there. I do tend to think that event is going to be back this year, and I do tend to think that they're going to go back to semi-normal by December. So, but we'll have to see. I really don't know. I also don't know what normal looks like during the 50th anniversary. I don't know how that affects everything. I feel like that is going to impact everything somehow.
Yeah. I've been through an anniversary. Again, I keep saying I've seen this at Disneyland, and I know how chaotic that was, and I'm just expect the next year to be turned on its head.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. That was the first time I was ever out at Disneyland as well, was during the 60th, and it was like just insanity.
Yeah, right. Like it's beautiful. It was beautiful, and I loved it. But yeah, it was crazy.
It was one of those where I was like, I need to not come here with my kids. This is crazy.
Yeah, we actually went twice in the year and a half that, like, while it was running, and yeah, we said to ourselves too, we're like, we're not coming back during an anniversary like this again. But you know, we're going in February, so.
Well, because I'm just thinking to myself, right? Like, they're not going to change the fireworks show a month after debuting it, right? Like, they're not going to have a special holiday fireworks show. Why would they? Right? They're literally going to
Yeah.
debut a brand new 50th anniversary show October 1st. The Christmas parties start when? November 1st? So what, they're just going to have it for a month and then have something else? Like, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just curious. I don't know if the 50th anniversary just, is more important than everything else and they're just going to have that. I don't know. We're going to have to find out, I guess. Or maybe they have a modified version of that. It seems like a lot of shows to be doing.
I think we need to sideline this because let's not go down this road.
All right. Well, let's read Dan's question, and then I've got some stuff from Kristen from our group that we need to read.
Yes.
But Dan says, I keep having this thought that a dragon-themed restaurant would be a great idea. Then I watched Raya and the Last Dragon and it changed my mind. Now, is that him saying he didn't enjoy Raya and the Last Dragon? Like, is that what he's saying here, that he didn't like that movie?
Yeah.
I thought that was a well-received movie. I didn't see it, though.
Maybe he's afraid of them, or maybe they just don't look the way he thought. I think that the dragons weren't as, I don't know. I don't want to say typical, but the artwork on them was a totally different conception than I would have given it, I guess.
They were a little softer than you would normally expect for a dragon.
Yes,
that's what I got from the trailers.
Yeah, they weren't like Maleficent, like right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
They were soft and cuddly, is what we're saying, right? Okay.
Yeah, closer. So I guess the thing is, like, it's closer to like Falkor from the Neverending Story.
Right.
But even Falkor was cooler looking than the dragon in Raya and the Last Dragon.
I didn't see it. Did you guys see it? Because I didn't see it.
We watched it.
It's on my list. So
yeah.
Did you like it, Becky? Was it good?
It was not bad. I liked it. Okay, my kids thought it was great too. Overall, I think I've seen it, so we're good. But
okay,
I'm not going to watch it again.
It's not one you have to play a million times, is what you're saying. It's not. Yeah. Okay.
Personally, no, but my kids will probably be like, "We can watch that again." Cool. Do it when I'm not here.
Yeah,
it's on my list.
That's a good tell for a movie. Is that, like, for us with Disney movies, there's certain ones that we'll watch them. And it's like, okay, that was good, and then we never watch it again. And then there's other ones that you put them on and you watch them the first time, everybody liked it. And then, your kids will go back and watch it. And then what I find happens in our house is, like, my son would turn something on, and even though I wasn't like planning to sit down and watch it, it still catches my attention enough that I stop and start watching the movie. The last one for me that did that was Moana. I really liked Moana, and it's good. Like, whenever my son put it on, because he wanted to watch it a couple of times, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm stopping what I'm doing to watch the show. But not every show can be Moana, I guess.
We're in a phase right now with my daughter, who's just a little over 3, and they talk about three-nager, right? That's the thing they say. She refuses to watch any movie. She will not watch movies. Period. If we start a movie, she will yell at us. So she hasn't watched a movie in a while. And she loves Moana. She loves Frozen. She refuses to watch the movies. We watched them at one point, but she won't watch them anymore.
I guess daughter did that too. She would want to, she was cool with the show, but she does not want to sit for any movie. Now she's more into it, but that same age, she kind of did the same thing. And I was like, really? But you love this. And she's like, but it's a movie. So
literally, she's like, we got her Frozen sheets for her bed, and she's so excited about the Frozen sheets. But it's like, hey, I'll turn on Frozen 2, and she's like, no. And it's like, wait, I thought we loved Anna and Elsa. What happened? But anyway, yeah, I get what you're saying. All right.
Okay. Do you want to take this next one? Because so I like.
Are you saying me or are you saying Becky?
No. See, I'm very much in the camp of you guys should have to read this.
So
I'm okay with it.
Well, okay. Let me start by saying, big thanks to Damon for coming and dropping information bombs the way he did last week, and then he's off playing foot golf this week, and we have to deal with the aftermath.
Well, okay, so Kristen felt like, and I'm all for this, right? So, and because I said this last week, we're alienating all of our female listeners, right? So Kristen came out and said, okay, now we need some tips for the ladies. So I there's some things in here that I'll read. I don't care. I don't mind.
Yep.
Guys, I questioned if this was the reason I'm on this show.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's
token
no, it's
female.
not. It's no. We could probably use more of a female perspective on the show in general, in going forward. But all right. So Kristen said, personally, I bring spray-on antiperspirant into the parks with me. Thighs and below the gals helps a lot. Let's.
Yeah.
It took me a moment to realize what she was saying, but I get it now. Lightweight cotton garments the best. Also digging short hair for the parks. I can stick my head in the sink and get refreshed. Interesting. So under antiperspirant spray on antiperspirant. Okay. So Jessica, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
you want to read some? You want to read some, Trevor?
Jessica says, now I feel like I'm not wearing the right underwear and have done so much online shopping since the episode. Results to be determined. She says, I've always used Body Glide sticks like many others, which I think we actually talked about that is, those.
Yeah,
those,
I use friction stick.
Body,
stick, yeah.
Body Glide's another manufacturer. I've actually used those myself too. Yeah, it's like a deodorant stick that, you can use if you're getting sweaty in certain areas, right? So, yeah.
Mine's more like, just so I don't get like any like thighs rubbing together, like get any like chafage, like that stuff is amazing. I think the one I use is like, what I say, it's like Arm & Hammer makes it. It's hard to find though. Like you really got to look for it in the store.
Go to sporting goods stores up here in Canada. We have a place called Sport Check, which sells all kinds of, hockey equipment because we're in Canada, but
of course.
Yeah. But yeah, you can get stuff like that there. So,
all right. And then Bernice says, I love wearing skirts to the park with an elastic waistband or summer lightweight dresses, no zippers, buttons, or snaps involved. And I always use the Body Glide.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's a big one.
So, okay, this next one. So Catherine says, this entire product line is fantastic. I use it everywhere to stay smooth, dry, and comfy. Lady Anti-Monkey Butt?
Which is a great name for a product. I had to put that in there because I was like, that's an amazing name. I have no idea what that's referring to. Is monkey butt a thing that people get? I
think it's a kinder term for other terms.
I think I'm getting it now. I just realized what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Julianne says definitely lightweight non-cotton underwear. New favorites are Hanes polyester something blend. I like polyester something that makes me laugh, and a perforated pattern to it. Super light and dry fast, and no underwires. Okay, that's important, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Amy says, I love the 32 Degree Cool brand of clothing, which so it's actually called 32 Degrees.
Yep, I guess so. Yeah.
And yeah, she says moderately priced and also perfect for hot humid days. Deodorant works well for chafing if you forget the Body Glide. So yeah, again, like we've all talked about, I think everyone's kind of saying the same thing here. Like, everyone has their own take on it, but yeah, I mean, hopefully this this helps, everybody think about the stuff they need to do for going into the parks. And yeah, I think Becky, you kind of alluded to it, like you said, swimming in the winter time, for us folks that live up further north, we're not used to the heat. And so it seems like you have to be a little bit more extreme in what you do to stay comfortable down there.
Yeah. There's the down there.
I know. Sorry,
you meant down there as in Florida.
You meant
in Florida.
Right.
The local terminology here. Anything south of us is down there, which is basically the entire United States.
I was going to say, to be fair, there's not a whole lot that's not that Orlando is not down there from.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think these all kind of ring true to, especially anyone who's done like a runDisney race, like the Body Glide. If you've never heard of Body Glide, you've definitely never done a runDisney race. So that is like the number one. Yeah, it's very well advertised, I think, in that community. So, yeah, I think everybody kind of had really good suggestions, and nothing seemed outlandish or something I hadn't heard of, which Damon, I'm not sure I've heard of all the things that we were talking about last week.
Yeah, he seemed to have a bit of a revelation.
All right. Anyway, we should probably do our ad.
All right, sounds good. DVC resale market. A World of DVC company is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2020, DVC Resale Market helped over 3,600 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 382-7767. And when you do, please let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. Cool. What were we talking about? Food. We can talk about food. Yeah.
Yeah. Foodie news. Citricos and Trails End. So let's start with Citricos. I'm kind of excited about this one.
I've been to Citricos actually a bunch of times. That was kind of our go-to signature for quite a while. We always liked going there, but I mean, listen, it was always kind of the same. So I kind of like that there's an update now,
Mm-hmm. And so someone's probably going to fight me for this one, but I actually have a reason to go to Grand Floridian now.
Oh, wow. Harsh. Well, and you always stay at Poly, so you're right next door. So,
which says something because I don't go over to the Grand Floridian, but a Mary Poppins themed Citricos is interesting me.
I always feel out of place in Grand Floridian because I am not a fancy human being, and I just always feel like I should be nicer dressed or should be. I don't know. I just feel out of place there.
This is my favorite conversation. I'm in the same group as you guys here. So.
I always feel like I'm getting glared at by certain people too. Like, ooh, what are those people doing here? Like,
I mean, I have been. You traipse all 5 kids in their matching T-shirts through the lobby and get some looks.
Really?
I feel like I'm describing every Grand Floridian person that's staying there, every guest as like somebody in like a top hat and has a cane and it's like
with a monocle.
Yeah, with a monocle. Yeah, like that's what I'm imagining in my head as I'm saying all this. Yeah. So
there's probably someone there that exists like that. You'll be fine.
I mean, if somebody greeted me at the door like that, I think it would make the experience that much better. I'm all for it. Like, anyway, so they rethemed Citricos the Mary Poppins. I don't think that was announced previously.
No, it
came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, because I think the last time we talked about anything from Mary Poppins was them possibly redoing some of the stuff in
Epcot.
In Epcot, yeah.
That was actually announced though. That was like official,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it seems like it's just kind of small touches of Mary Poppins, right? Right. So, go ahead, Becky.
Sorry. On the announcement for this, I saw it in the Parks blog, and if you go on the Disney website on Citricos, is that a picture of a waiting seating area, or is that the restaurant itself? It says Mary Poppins Returns, and I didn't feel like that can't possibly be the full-on theming that they're talking about, is it? It doesn't seem like it's very much.
Probably not.
Okay. I've never been in that restaurant, so I don't know what that is.
It's a really nice restaurant, right? So, I don't feel like it's going to be, really over-the-top Mary Poppins. I think it's just going to be kind of subtle stuff, okay. And they do say taking subtle cues from the movie's animated sequence. So, it feels like it's just, little details.
So... yeah, the actual verbiage that they use is which pays homage to the whimsy and elegance of Mary Poppins Returns. So yeah, they're alluding to it's not full on themed, but there's inspiration from the movie.
Yeah, this menu looks good though. I mean, sweet corn bisques, that sounds kind of good. I'm in for that.
Yeah,
although popcorn in it feels kind of weird, but whatever. I mean, it's probably a good little crunch for that, for that soup. I don't know. The desserts look good though. I'm always about the desserts. That's the only thing I ever care about is desserts, and these desserts look really good.
I agree with the desserts. I looked at that strawberry salad. Man, it's $16. It's like 4
It's like 4
fronds of, it's like 1 strawberry quartered and 4 fronds of a fern. Like, I'm not going to buy that, but I mean,
fancy. It's small portions
right.
and it's expensive, right? That's what it is. Right?
That's crazy. I like salads. That's not going to work. But yeah, I agree. The desserts will bring it home. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good to me. I like Citricos. It's a good restaurant. It's got a cool view. It's in a nice area. It's a nice restaurant. I do like it a lot, and it looks like they're making it even a little more upscale. So that's cool. I've never been to Trails End though. I will say I've somehow never been to Trails End. I don't know if any of you guys have, but I have not.
So Trails End, is that over by Hoop-de-Doo Review? Or
It's Fort Wilderness. Yeah. Go ahead, Becky. Sorry, I didn't mean.
Oh no, I think so. We, by and large, my family is a buy one meal out, bring one meal in kind of thing, and then we cook it. We cook in our room. We totally eat now that we have a kitchen, and so I haven't been to a ton of sit down with my family. When I go without them, I'll try other places. But yeah, I have not gotten over there either to Trails End, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah. I will say that, like I said, the problem, or why I was asking about Hoop-de-Doo, is because anytime we go over to Fort Wilderness is because we're going to Hoop-de-Doo. So
yeah,
I'm already there for a meal, so I would never think to go to Trails End because it's kind of out of the way, honestly. Like,
it's way out of the way.
Yeah.
Unless you're staying at Wilderness Lodge, it's kind of out of the way. I will say though, this the dessert, where is it here? I'm trying to find
it looks awesome.
Yeah.
So is that what used to be the 10-gallon hat sundae, and now it's because literally the picture is a hat.
It is. It's a hat.
Yeah. I don't know why it's called the covered wagon if it's a hat.
They got a little bit backwards going on there, but it looks amazing.
Yeah,
it really does.
Also, like, I'm not gonna go to a park after eating anything from there. I'm not going to make it.
No. I feel like anytime I ever eat at like an all you care to enjoy restaurant, I always feel like I need to go take a nap for at least a couple hours, or like go to like before I go anywhere else. Like I can't eat all that. And then my wife likes to joke about our the first night of our honeymoon. I ate way too much at one restaurant and was just kind of in the fetal position all night going, why did you let me eat so much? Like, I just overindulged,
It happens to the best of us.
It does.
That's why we tend to try and do a lunchtime for those type of restaurants. And then that way you kind of walk it off most of the day. And then you can do a light dinner and not feel like that by the end of the night. So
see, I like a good breakfast buffet because I like to fill up on breakfast and then I just blow right by lunch, right? Like like a little bit of a later breakfast, like maybe like 9 o'clock, like a brunch, more like a brunch, and then I'm just good until I'll have a snack sometime midday, and then I'm good until dinner. That's kind of how I like to roll, but not to eat so much though to the point where I'm like feeling ill. I won't do that, but. I'm down with this dinner though too. They got the skillet with brisket, rotisserie chicken, andouille sausage, fingerling potatoes, green beans, butter quarter on the cob. It actually kind of sounds like Whispering Canyon, truthfully.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense. It's
not a bad thing.
Yeah, they're both in the same area, so why not?
Not a bad thing. I mean, Whispering Canyon I enjoy the food at Whispering Canyon. I've always thought it was good there too. So.
Is this also the place everybody's upset about the fried chicken being?
Oh, yeah.
Is that this one?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
I don't care. But
don't worry. They'll probably bring it back like the noodles from Ohana because everyone's going to complain until, So. Hey, listen, I'm also excited about the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor. I've talked before. It's my favorite smell at Magic Kingdom. So, well, actually at all the parks, it's my favorite smell. So that's coming back too. July 7th.
Yay.
Which is great. Which is oddly a Tuesday, isn't it? Wait, is that a Tuesday? What is
it's Wednesday.
Wait, it's Wednesday. Wait, it's even weirder because it's Wednesday. Why open on a Wednesday?
Why not?
Yeah,
it's not like they are. They're open 7 days a week, so they can.
Yeah, 365 a year, right? I guess days of the week don't matter at Disney, is what you're saying.
Exactly. So also, I saw Casey's Corner was in here as well, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch Tim Tracker at all?
I do not.
I've seen it maybe maybe once. I know like who you mean, but that's
okay.
Where it ends.
So it was a bit funny. We actually just watched this episode with him because I find it funny because Tim Tracker, basically since this whole pandemic thing started, he's been itching for a hot dog from Casey's Corner, and he goes there he goes by there every time. He's like, oh, it doesn't look like they're opening yet. And then of course, when they opened up, he was like over the moon about these hot dogs. And the funny, one thing that stuck with me though, that he said when he was talking about it is that, you know, it's not that the hot dog is necessarily the best hot dog ever. It's the institution of going to Casey's and going to, you know, this particular place on Main Street. Like it's almost kind of a weird tradition thing. And I feel like you were saying, you know, it's the same kind of thing about the ice cream as well, is that it's not that Disney is necessarily doing anything unique, but it's just that idea of going to Disney to get your ice cream or your hot dog or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So,
well, listen, a little mini deep fried corn dog with some of that fake cheese that they got there. Few things better. There are few things better in this world than those little corn dogs that you can dip into the fake cheese.
So tell me why you would not get those with ketchup and mustard.
Because fake cheese is delicious. Like the little cheese that they get out of like the machine that comes in a plastic bag. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but not for corn dogs.
Yeah, no, yes for corn dogs.
No.
Yeah,
I
mean,
just,
listen. Go ahead.
corn
go ahead,
dog
Becky.
corn dog can be by itself, but and I always catch a lot of trouble for saying this, but no one's going to beat the corn dog from the Little Red Corn Dog cart at Disneyland.
You
so
know.
like I can't even do Casey's corn dogs because it's just not right.
Well, and let's be honest, those little mini corn dogs they have at Casey's are like frozen ones you could buy at the grocery store. They're not
Absolutely.
they're not like handmade, like I mean, but
No,
still
it's not that. No, Becky, you're right. That hand dipped corn dog from Little Red Wagon. Yeah, that's a whole other level. Like we're in another universe.
That's Breakfast of Champions. Like
It is.
That's what I do every time.
But yeah, I wish. I know Disney tried to do. I know they've done hand dipped corn dogs at Sleepy Hollow. I still haven't tried them yet, though.
Oh, I had one on my last trip. It was good.
Okay, but
Although I felt kind of ill afterwards because it was like a really big hot dog. Like it was like a, I don't know if it was like a quarter pound. It was a big hot dog, and it was very salty. Like I felt like I ate like a lot of salt, like 2 daily values worth at least. Like,
we'll have to compare. I think this is something maybe you know Becky and I have to try and
We'll
happen
have to-
because we have
Disneyland.
the frame of reference from the Little Red Wagon.
well, listen, the only reason I got it was because they didn't have my Nutella waffle. So I was going to get the Nutella waffle. They didn't have it. And I was like, all right, a hand-dipped corn dog sounds pretty good. And it was. Listen, it was delicious. I ate all of it, but I literally afterwards felt like, I felt my blood pressure going up. Like, it was so salty. It was so salty. And there was so much of it. I don't know. It was just a lot. But anyway,
You need the ketchup and mustard on it.
I mean, listen, I'm all about the cheese. I didn't have cheese for that one, but listen, I have this actually later as its own item, but in this same article is the thing about the family dinner nights, Disney family night dinner. And I think this actually looks really cool. Have you guys looked at this? What they're doing?
I have. You go ahead, Trevor.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out what this is.
Okay. So, my thoughts. I mean, okay. I love the idea that they're kind of normalizing a relaxing evening. I think that's cool. It's innovative for Disney, but it makes it almost so you don't feel like you're like missing magic by not being in a park, I guess.
Yeah.
We've definitely had times where we've had to roll back to the resort early, one kid too hot or done for the day, whatever. And then, this would be kind of cool. But then I also think the price tag is insane to me. And then I would also need to get 2 of them for my family.
Because it feeds 3 to 4. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Yeah.
But this is very similar to like what we do. Like my family, we did do this on our own. Like we went back to our room and either had pizza one night or we had made food and just chilled in the room. We threw on Mandalorian and like we just hung out in the room and made it a whole different thing. So I really like that they're coming up, kind of forcibly making people relax.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool because it is not something that has been necessarily offered that I've ever seen before. So and I mean, I sort of laugh at the one being at Grand Floridian, but
yeah.
That seems interesting. But it looks yummy. Like that, I would choose that over the Centertown Market. Yeah, Centertown Market is not going to be somewhere I give money to anyway. So that's...
Oh, so much Caribbean beach hate. So we should explain what this is, though. So this is you can get this. This is a family style dining bundle that's a takeout shareable meal with so it's a meal and dessert, and also comes with a family game too. And so right now they're doing it through mobile order 5 to 10 o'clock at night, and they're only doing it at two different resorts. So it's only Grand Floridian and a Caribbean. I'm guessing because they're testing this out to see if it's a popular option, and then maybe they'll roll it out elsewhere. But I like the idea of one of them has decorate your own Minnie and Mickey cookies. That's kind of a fun activity for the family to do, it's just a neat thing to include in there. And they did have something like this, I feel like pre-pandemic, but it was more of, wasn't it all the ingredients and you cook your own meal, if I remember correctly? It was like a DVC thing. I feel like I'd have to look back, but I feel like they had something like this.
I don't remember anything like that. What?
Not where it was fully cooked already. I feel like they gave you the ingredients and you had to cook it, but it's all fully cooked.
Right. So what this reminds me of is at Disneyland they had something like this where it was a takeout meal, but it actually came with tickets for a reserved seating for the parade that night. So you actually
yes.
you bought a lunch. Yeah, you probably have seen
I've
this.
seen
Becky.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you bought a lunch, and I think it was actually in Adventureland. We got these little lunch boxes basically, and then they gave us these tickets, and then later that evening we went over by Small World, and we were able to watch the parade. So I wonder if it's interesting that they're offering this at the parks, and they're kind of. They're offering the games in there as a means of, it's not just a meal. There's also a bit of entertainment with it being, I like your idea, Becky, of, hey, let's make everyone actually stop for a minute and, get a meal, sit down and just chill out. Or, alternately, this one at Centertown, I know you guys are saying, why would I get that? I'm not at Caribbean Beach, but if you're staying at Riviera, it's close. You can hop on the Skyliner and take your food back to Riviera if you really want to. Same thing for the Grand Floridian. That's close enough that I could feasibly walk it back over to the Poly if I didn't want to actually sit at the Grand Floridian to eat this.
Take it to the beach and just
yeah.
I mean, I think it makes sense in that regard to me.
Yeah. So I guess it's not the first time I've seen something like this, and it makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if, Disney is looking for ways to offer, offering these combos of sorts where your family can get a combo and it feels reasonably priced. For $79 for one of these, for a family of four, you're spending at least that much if you're doing even quick service.
It's $20 a head. Yeah. And and this doesn't come with drinks. So I should just mention, so for Caribbean Beach, it's Jamaican style chicken, fried yuca, cilantro rice, seasonal vegetables, Caribbean pull apart rolls. And then the decorate your own Minnie and Mickey cookies. And then the one at Grand Floridian is a garden salad, savory lasagna, 2 Mickey shaped cheese or pepperoni pizzas, little personal pizzas, and mini cheesecake. And when I say mini, I mean MINNIE cheesecake with strawberry sauce, whipped cream, and fresh berries. So those are the 2 menus. I think it's an interesting idea, and I think it'd be cool for them to expand on that, because I think you're right, Becky, in that it's a great idea to kind of chill in the room for a night, and you don't have to worry about cooking, and but it is a little pricey, right? But everything at Disney.
But it's Disney.
Yeah, you just expect that. Right. So one thing we blew by the way, and I don't know this place, but I know it's popular. Salt and Straw, the ice cream place at Disneyland, is coming to Disney World. Is coming to Disney Springs. But is that place? I mean, I don't know anything about that place. Is it any good? Do you guys know?
I'm
You've
trying
never go
to
there?
picture. Is that the one that has the giant like shakes in downtown Disney, or is that a different place? I don't know that I know this place.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it. I don't remember Salt and Straw in Disneyland. So,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's fairly new. I don't know that much about it. I know the only reason I recognize the name is I remember they had like chocolate insect ice cream at one point, and we talked about it. But that's the only thing I remember about it. Like they had some really funky flavors. So, any other food stuff we want to talk about? Do you got anything else you guys want to talk about with this dining night in, or this Disney family night dinner, or anything like that? I mean, or do we want to move on?
I'll just point out one other thing is that, you're talking that this doesn't come with drinks, but if you're staying at your resort and you have refillable mugs, that's really kind of a non-issue anyway. So
that's true. Yeah. And so, by the way, I also should mention too, so we kind of mentioned what the price is. It's $79 for the one at Caribbean Beach, $89 for the one at Grand Floridian, because why not? Why wouldn't it be more expensive at Grand Floridian? Yeah, why not? It's Grand Floridian. You get a $10 premium. Boom. Done. Yeah.
Well, okay, so you asked if we had...
You got to pay for the monocles somehow.
Yeah, that's right. You got to pay for those extra monocles. That's very important.
Exactly.
What were we going to say, Trevor?
You're saying if we had anything else more about dining, well, what about the dining plan?
Oh, yeah, the dining plan's coming back. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by this. I've always been a believer that, like, the Disney dining plan is probably, like, the most profitable thing that they have, like, the most profitable add-on. Because so many people just don't even use their meals and their snacks. It's like a gift card. Companies love gift cards because, someone pays $100 for it and, like, half of them never get used, right? So, I feel like it's the same way with the dining plan, and I feel like it's already inflated as it is. Because, I mean, I know personally, like, we ate the same way on the Disney dining plan and off the Disney dining plan, and we spent much less money off the dining plan than we would have for the dining plan. So, like, much less. So, I mean, listen, and I don't want to, like, say anything bad about anybody that does a dining plan. It is a great value for some folks. And Becky, like, your family of 5, I don't know if you guys do it, but I'm a family of 7. I'm sorry, I should say family of 5 kids. I don't know maybe if it's a good value for you or not, but
absolutely not.
Okay, see, there you go.
No chance in the world.
Yeah. No. But for some families, it is, though. Some families, it totally makes sense. So I'm not, like, trashing anybody that does it. Like, do it if you want to do it. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, I won't go too far into it. But I think the only, like, loophole that I ever found that sort of made sense was if we had, like, a split stay and we did a DVC dining plan for, like, one night, but it covers 2 days. It was like such crazy Disney math, but I was still like, but am I actually going to spend my park time sitting in a table service restaurant? No. So it really, like, moot point. Like, it doesn't work for my family. And we very much buy, like, discounted gift cards and use them. And I know I'm going back, so if I don't use it all that time, that's fine. The dining plan is just not ever something I will use.
Right. It's funny. I feel like there's somewhere in the middle that, like, obviously, Becky, your family is fairly large. Mine is very small. There's just 3 of us. And for very similar reasons, it just doesn't work. And I think it's, I feel like there's a sweet spot somewhere that, if you've got, the right amount of people, and like you said, depending on how you actually do Disney, you feel like you get a value out of it. But yeah, same thing for me is, I just realized for the money that I would spend on it, I just, keep that money in my pocket and not feel bad about, going and buying extra treats or buying whatever while I'm there. And then, I always end up with money left over at the end anyway, because it's part of my budget. And then, you use it on your next trip. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
I find it, we used to do the dining plan, right? So, like, my wife and I did it for a while, and then we realized that it didn't really work out well for us, right? Like, my wife never gets dessert, almost never gets dessert when we go to, like, I always get dessert. She almost never does. So, like, that was one of the places we were, like, not getting our money's worth there, right? Because she just wouldn't get dessert. It's not part of it. So like I said, we did a trip where we were like, let's just eat the same way we normally do, and add up the bill at the end and see what the difference is. And, like I said, we spent way less doing just, no dining plan. So, but I get why people do it. I always find it interesting though, the people that like have the conspiracy theory that the dining plan has made the restaurants worse quality. And I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, I get the idea of like more people going to the restaurant, but like, I feel like Disney food has been as good, if not better than it's ever been. So I don't know. I don't understand why people say that.
Yeah, that seems pretty far removed to equate payment method to food quality.
Yeah.
I guess go ahead. Sorry, Becky.
Oh, I just was going to say, I don't know that I necessarily agree on the quality perspective, but just that it's harder to maybe get a reservation because people are trying to use all those credits to make sure they don't miss out on a table service. So they'll just grab what they can grab. That's the only part that I think it makes it harder on. But the quality of the food is really just what it is, whether you like it or hate it. So
I don't understand why people like, because I don't find the quality to be bad. I mean, I feel like the quality is excellent, and it has been, and it still is. I don't know. Go ahead, sorry, Trevor.
Well, one, I was going to say I've eaten theme park food, like going to smaller theme parks. That like, the Disney food is definitely not theme park food in that sense.
They still have some of that in some places. If you go to Pizza Rizzo, you're going to eat a crappy pizza. I mean, like, that's true. But, like, there's lots of other places you can go that are good.
Yeah, I grew up on Six Flags, and we never got the food. And so I would not say Disney is Six Flags quality. It's by far superior, so.
Exactly. Sorry, Trevor. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I was going to ask both of you a question here on this, is that do you see changes happening to this? Like, do you see
like
the dining plan? Yeah. Do you see the dining plan? Like they say it's coming back. What do you think? Do you think it'll be the same as it was before the pandemic? Or do you think maybe we'll see some changes to it that might change our point of view on this?
It's a good question. I don't, because we've been saying for a while, we don't think FastPass is going to come back the same, but it might. And I think the only reason the dining plan isn't back now is because they don't have all the restaurants open. Like you can't bring the dining plan back now when there's still restaurants that are closed. Now they're reopening as they hire more cast members back and they, get that stuff open and the crowds, warrant having these things open. But I don't think that they're not offering it right now because they're waiting, like they're working on a change to it. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're just not sure when it's going to make sense and not sure when all the restaurants are going to be opened again. I kind of tend to think it's going to be mostly the same, maybe tweaked a little bit. Like, I can't imagine them like raising the price on it significantly, although they were raising it like every year. I mean, I think it was going up every year when it was still available, right? I don't know.
I think that they started to announce some sort of adjustment to it, like right before everything was kind of shutting down. I feel like I remember seeing some sort of just renaming it and kind of recategorizing so it wasn't so much food that people weren't eating in the highest level of them. Or there was some sort of a change.
It feels like so long ago that it was it's like, which it was. I mean, it's been a while, but
that last year, 10 years ago, you mean?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. It feels like it was 10 years ago for real. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is an interesting question. I'm not, well, first of all, I don't care, but I just don't.
Same. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I can't fathom how they will either improve it or make it even worse. Because it's just a mind-boggling thing. Anyway, I get it from a business perspective. Like you said, it is a gift card, like, mentality for a business. Absolutely. I just listen, with all the kids we have, we do everything on the cheap as much as possible. So I can't wrap my head around like what would be different about this that would be like, that's such a good change, because it's great now where there is no dining plan.
I mean, it's not getting cheaper, right? Like, that's not
right.
It's not going to get cheap enough to the point where, Becky, you're going to be like, I'm doing it now. Oh yeah, Family 7. Yeah. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. Right. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm really, like you said, I don't really care. Like, I do believe that it does make it harder to get a reservation at restaurants. Sure. Right. I can see that. I think that's legit. But I don't know. I really just don't care. Bring it back. Don't bring it back. Who cares? I think what you're paying for there is convenience, right? You're paying for kind of like a peace of mind. You've prepaid for your food. It's like an all-inclusive at that point, right?
Yeah,
it's
but you
like
still have to tip. Yeah, like,
that's what you do.
It's not all-inclusive. It makes me nuts. Sorry.
I actually remember I remember going on a trip in like, I want to think it was like 2007 or 2006 where tip was included. I feel like tip was included at one point, but not anymore. That's for sure. So, but it's mostly all inclusive. Mostly.
Sure.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah, let's, before we go too much further down that rabbit hole, I think we're due for another ad, aren't we, Tom?
We are due for another ad, yeah. and we should probably speed up here because we've been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
So this is our second ad is from Monera Financial. We talked earlier about DVC resale market and about purchasing a resale contract. If you're looking for financing options for your DVC purchase, look no further than Monera Financial. Monera, a World of DVC company, is the industry leader for financing DVC resale contracts. Monera offers lending with no credit checks, often very low down payments, and terms as long as 10 years and no prepayment penalties. If you're thinking of purchasing a DVC contract, go check out their quick online quote first. You might be surprised at how affordable joining DVC can be. So go to monerafinancial.com or call 317-245-8800, and when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. In-person Run Disney events to return to Disney World this fall. Talk about things I don't care about. This is one of them. I know there's people that do care, though, and we talked about a rumor about it a couple weeks ago, so I had to put this in here.
I love Run Disney. I love it.
I had a feling, Becky, you were going to be a Run Disney person. Like how many Run Disney things have you done?
I want to say probably 5.
Wow.
The first one I did was a 5K in 2014. It was right after our 4th kid was born, and it was kind of my first, I'm going to go run on purpose, which I hadn't done for years at that point. And it was more just, if I'm going to run, I'm going to do it at Disney. And so it was the first time we took our kids. It was a great trip, and ever since then, we will never do a family Run Disney trip again. So it's just crazy, but I did do a 10K. The first time I went out to Disneyland, I did a 10K out there, and I met a friend. I met her and her husband, and they also had 5 kids, but they didn't bring them with. And we set all of our kids up as pen pals because they were from Florida. And she and I bail on our husbands and kids and go on Disney trips alone. So I love Run Disney because I met one of my best friends just completely randomly at a Run Disney event. So I can't hate it. It's great. I've done enough. So much more stuff because of that one time I decided to go run 6 miles for no good reason. So yeah, I was happy to hear them coming back, and
that's good. The only running I'm doing at Disney is when I pull up the app and I see there's a 10-minute wait for Big Thunder and I'm running across Magic Kingdom. That's literally the only running I'm ever doing at Disney.
But that's more of that power walk kind of shuffle because the cast members will yell at you if you run. So
yeah, it's the fast walk. Yeah, you got to do the fast walk. Yeah, that's the only running I'm doing at Disney. That's it. Or to catch a bus or a monorail. That's about it. But I'm glad that somebody's happy. I know lots of people are happy about this because I know lots of people do the Run Disney stuff. So this is great. It just is also another signal of things getting back to normal, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's also that.
I won't expound on any other thoughts I have because I know we're going long. So
going long here, yeah. You're just talking too much, Becky. No, I'm just kidding.
I am. I'm sorry.
It's probably my fault. So I'm super excited about this next item. I don't know about you guys, but anyone, Trevor, you want to read this?
So Pixar's Coco has a scene coming to Mickey's PhilharMagic in the Magic Kingdom and California Adventure. This is surprising to me for 2 things. One, that they're including Coco in the parks, and 2, that PhilharMagic's getting an update. Because I can't remember the last time that PhilharMagic got an update.
I think the last time I got an update, like they just updated the film to like a better quality, but like as far as adding anything into the film, I don't think ever. I don't think they've ever updated anything in this show. And listen, I think it fits perfect, right? Like Coco's all about music. Like that show is all about music. It's a perfect fit. I'm excited for this. My daughter loves Coco. I like Coco a lot too. It's a really good movie, and I feel like this fits really nicely into it. They're not like shoehorning it in, you know?
And I just want to point out that, you know, that they picked Un Poco Loco and not Remember Me as the song. So Remember Me would definitely
Poco Loco is a little more fun.
Yeah. It put a totally different spin on PhilharMagic, I think.
No one wants to cry during PhilharMagic. What are you going to say, Becky? Sorry.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think that this stalls out the rumor of changing the Grand Fiesta tour in Mexico? Like, everybody kept talking about changing it to Coco. And now do you think they'd be like, we've got Coco in the parks, we'll be fine?
No, I still think, I don't even think like, because I don't think they've even ever said anything about doing that. It just makes sense to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it was a rumor for sure.
Yeah, it makes sense that they should do that, and I don't think that this stops it because there's lots of things that they have, you know, two references to in two different areas. You know, I feel like it's only going to be one small scene. They can still make a whole ride out of Coco.
So, you know, I think that, you know, maybe this is also a hint that, you know, maybe something like Coco, I know everyone's going, well, you know, they're going to replace the entire ride with Coco in Epcot, but maybe it'll be just like this where, you know, the ride itself is still intact, but they just add in some stuff from the movie.
Some Coco flourishes.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun to see. And they have that Three Caballeros show on Disney Plus now, so it'd be kind of hard to just completely write them off. They just fixed those animatronics, right? So
right. Yeah. So
I don't think that ride's getting changed anytime soon. But go ahead, sorry, Trevor.
But yeah, I was going to say, you know, back to PhilharMagic, because that's really what we were talking about here.
Right.
Is that, you know, this also opens itself up too. That, you know, them throwing in something like Coco, which I know Coco was very well received and very popular, but I feel like there's plenty of other shows that they could easily put into PhilharMagic. Like, it could almost become a rotating thing. And really, honestly, I wonder why it hasn't up until now.
Are you saying maybe that this is like not the last update? Like, because, you know, you're right. They could throw Moana in there, and even with like the water effects that they have in the seats, they could do some water stuff with Moana. They could, I mean, there's tons of stuff they could do. Like, you know, I mean, every movie basically has music in it, so you could do that, right? I don't know. You're right about that. Maybe it's just they felt like it was underrepresented and it's a popular IP and they just wanted to put it in there. Listen, I'm a big fan of PhilharMagic. I really like that show. I find it very entertaining. It still makes me laugh every time when I turn around and Donald's butt is sticking out of the wall and his little legs are kicking. Like, it's hilarious. It's a great little show. I mean, it also never has a line and is air conditioned and it's a nice break. So, but yeah, anyway, go ahead, Becky. What were you going to say?
I just going to point out the fact that it's Pixar animation working with like classic animation. So I think that is a cool crossover.
That's a good point too. I didn't think about that. This is actually a Pixar IP.
Yeah. And nothing else in there is Pixar, right? Like, right? I don't think anything else in that show is Pixar. It's all Disney, right?
Listen, I was just going off of the notes.
You're just stealing off of the notes. That's funny.
I do think my opinion is genuine. I think it's really neat, but I didn't, dig that up myself.
It is worth noting that they're not removing anything, right? So this is just an addition without removal, right? So which is good, which is also really good. It's funny. It's a good note. I hadn't thought about it, but I'm also wondering how they're going to mesh because it's not like they did update the animation recently, didn't they? Like they updated, I don't know if they just updated the quality of the video. I don't think they went back and reanimated everything like with the latest technology. I'm just wondering how that scene is going to, like, how do they make that match to what the technology was at the time that they did the rest of it? You know what I mean? Where it doesn't look out of place because it's so much better than the other stuff.
Right. Where's the transition?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it doesn't like stick out like a sore thumb. You're like, because like when you watch like the first Toy Story, it's like, wow, they really didn't know how to animate humans or dogs in this movie. Like it's really bad. And then you watch Toy Story 4 and you're like, okay, they figured it out. Like they're pretty good. I mean, it's amazing how the difference in animation is from that first Toy Story to the last one. So, I mean, obviously PhilharMagic has been around for quite a while now. The technology has gotten better since then, obviously. So how do you make it look like it's not like out of place?
Well, but I think that's where when they're building the scenes, they're not just taking a scene from Coco. They're actually designing a PhilharMagic scene that's Coco themed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely doable, and it's not it just means that whoever's doing it just has to be cognizant of not just copying
in there.
Copying one style and throwing it in, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to mention too that this starts October 1st. This is another 50th anniversary thing that's coming on board. So
can we just say everything is a 50th anniversary thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
It feels like everything.
I mean, Ratatouille's been ready for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well,
everything's happening October 1st.
We should mention though, California Adventure and Disneyland Paris are getting it on July 17th. So it's only Disney World that's waiting till October 1st. Which is just kind of mean. Like, obviously it's done. Just
you can wait.
Wasn't July 17th is Disneyland's anniversary?
Yes, it is.
But not California Adventure. I don't know.
Well, but yeah, it's yeah. What do you?
I tried to throw him a bone.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's really funny though that they're bringing it July 17th and they're just like Magic Kingdom, you gotta wait. Like Disney World, you just wait until October 1st because we're not allowed to do anything before October 1st.
Right.
Oh man, that's really funny because I thought all of them were October 1st and then I went back and read it and I was like, oh no, look, it's actually everyone else is getting it 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, to your point, Becky, I just looked it up. If they were going to wait until whenever California Adventure opened, it actually opened February 8th. So
guess they can't wait that long.
Yeah, that would be
awkward. They don't want to wait that long. Well, listen, I guess it makes as annoying as it is. I guess it makes sense for them to hold it to October 1st. That's another thing they can be like, here's another 50th anniversary thing we can give you. You know,
I guess
because there's not enough going on.
I'm
already.
with you, Becky. I'm just trying to justify it. I don't think it's justifiable.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry, Trevor.
I said because there's not enough going on already, and you know what? I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to trail into the next part, which is they're talking about early park entry and extended evening hours for deluxe resort guests only, and this is starting on October 1st.
Wait, really? No,
yeah.
That's crazy. What is that? A significant date of some sort?
Not according to my friends who are like, I think we're going to go in early October. Oh, for your first trip? That's a good plan.
Yeah,
no.
You're daring.
No. You know there's going to be so many people that like haplessly end up there on October 1st and are like, why is it so busy? There's so many people here. Like, it's not going to get it.
So
this is a controversial one, by the way, which I didn't think it would be, but it is.
I immediately thought it would be.
I don't care about the early park entry. I care about the extended evening hours.
Well, so let's tell everyone what this is, right? So, and we talked about this a while ago because they announced the early morning part like months and months ago. I don't remember what it was. We talked about it a long time ago and I love this idea of early park entry to every park. So like instead of magic hours like it was before where it was like, hey, on this Tuesday, Magic Kingdom's going to be open an hour early. It's literally every day, every park open early for resort guests. That's great. I like it. Were you going to say something, Becky? I'm sorry.
Nope.
Okay. What people are upset about is the second part, the extended evening hours. We'll call them, extra magic hours. The funny part is they stopped calling them extra magic hours, but it's the same thing. I don't know why they got rid of that name. It's fine. But basically the early evening or the extended evening hours are going to be specific dates like extra magic hours were. However, going to only be available to deluxe resort guests or deluxe villa guests. So people are mad about this. And when I thought about it a little bit, I got it. But also coming from my point of view as a DVC member, I'm like, all right, this is pretty great.
Yeah. Being that we're a DVC podcast, I'm not knocking this one at all because, hey, this is exactly, a great reason to be staying at a deluxe resort right now.
Yeah, and it's a great time to be a DVC member too.
Yeah.
I actually posted this as being like basically a new DVC member perk, and I got a lot of people like, it's not a DVC perk, it's for all people. And I'm like, relax, okay? Like, we're talking about semantics here. It's a perk, okay? It is. If you're a DVC member staying at a DVC resort, this is a new perk for you. Like, it is.
It happens to apply to people who are staying cash at a deluxe resort as well.
Yeah.
But, just having my DVC contract, this has just garnered me a perk that I didn't have before.
It doesn't have to be an exclusive perk to be a perk, right? Like, It doesn't have to be like only DVC members get this for it to be a DVC perk. This is it, and in my mind, you know, if you're a DVC member, you're staying at DVC resorts most of the time, right? So this is a perk as a member.
It's a deluxe resort perk, is what it is, which happens to encompass DVC.
It's an incidental, temporary DVC perk. Yeah, incidental and temporary. Yes, I agree with you. And it's almost like, though, that they were like, well, if we're going to include the deluxe resorts, we got to include the villas too, right? Because can you imagine how mad members would have been if they just would have said deluxe resorts and left out the villas?
I think that would have just assumed that it was the same.
Yeah.
Paying deluxe for value pricing or whatever the selling point was.
I mean, listen, I do get why people are mad about this. For a long time, people feel like that Disney has been kind of creating a, let's call it a class system, you know, and this kind of further, you know, enforces that view. Now, listen, everybody staying at every resort gets the early morning one. It's just the evening one that's extra for deluxe resort guests. So it's not like other resort guests are getting nothing. But again, I understand why people are mad about this. And I also understand, you know, like, I understand. I just get it. I get it. I at first I was like, this is great. I'm loving this. And then I was like, oh yeah, but everyone's staying at a moderate and, or staying off property or, you know, staying at a value are going to be mad about this. And I get it.
Okay. So here comes my selfish point of view on this. So coming from, you know, a couple of time zones over, I hate rope drop. I've tried to do rope drop at Disney World and I can't do it because it's way too early for me. So the fact that they are offering this to, they're offering extra long evening hours to Deluxe Resort members is absolutely perfect by me. And I don't really care what anyone else's problem is with it because it means that I can stay until park close and then I can sleep in the next morning because I'm doing that anyway because I'm fighting against the time zone change. And not feel bad about it. Listen, from your point of view, definitely. Go ahead, Becky. I'm sorry.
No, I was agreeing.
This whole thing is interesting because it's like, why can't they do it for all the resorts? Right. Like, it does feel like they could just do it for all the resorts, right? Like, yeah. Go ahead, Becky.
Okay, sorry. I have a thought on it. Like, number one, I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope. Like. What's next?
Oh, for sure.
Like,
right? Well, the fast passes are next.
Right.
Paid fast passes are next on the list. You know they are.
Yeah. I know. I try to not agree with
pretend
that,
like that's not going to happen.
Yes, I substitute my own reality for this rejection. But that besides the slippery slope, I mean, people are paying more, they can get more. That's fine. Whatever. Do what you need to do. It doesn't really matter to me. I just find it somewhat humorous because anyone who's ever been to a party, be it a Halloween party or an after hours or whatever, the day guests that don't have that hard ticket, I mean, they're not like being kicked out. They just can't go on a ride. Like how long is this even going to be? Like, is it maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours? Is it that big of a deal? Like, you can still technically be there, but you're just not going to ride the selected rides that are staying open late. It's just really funny to me. Like, I don't know. People like to have something to complain about. So.
Well, and that already existed, right? Like when Extra Magic Hours were there, you know, most people think for some reason that the majority of the people that are in a Disney park stay on site. They do not. That is not. Most people stay off site, and so because as many hotels as Disney has, they don't have enough for as many millions of people that are in the parks every year, right? Like they just don't have that much credit. So there's people that are staying elsewhere. So that existed before, right? Because it was like, oh, well, what about all those people staying at hotels outside Disney property that can't afford Disney? That those people didn't get Extra Magic Hours before either. Now this is just chopping it up a little bit more, right? It's making it a little more exclusive, but
it doesn't eliminate the capacity of the people who just haven't left yet.
That's true. Listen, like I said, I do feel bad for anybody that's upset about this, but at the same time, it's like, coming from a DVC perspective, it's a great perk. I like it. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if it was open to all resort guests. I'd be fine with that because I was fine with that when it was Extra Magic Hours.
Exactly.
And really, what you're talking about, it comes down to people's fear of missing out. That's really all it is people saying, hey, this isn't fair. How come these people get to stay late and I don't get to? Is that they feel like they're missing something special or something. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, when the park is like emptying out and you get on like Big Thunder or something, that is magical. Like I will always do that. I will always be there late and do that kind of stuff. But, again, people getting mad about perks for staying on site. This has been a thing for as long as I can remember. I remember, even, again, going to Disneyland and, it was the same thing as staying at certain hotels, and they even extended it to the Good Neighbor hotels because there was only, at the time, there was only 2 Disney hotels when I was a kid, there was the one main Disney hotel and then everything else was Good Neighbors. But they had, again, you had to be staying specifically close to the resort in order to get, early park entry and all this kind of stuff. So, this is not a new thing. It's not surprising. Disney changes it around all the time. And, it's a way for them to incentivize people to actually go and stay at deluxe resorts coming out of the pandemic. And, frankly, fine. If I'm going to be the guy with the top hat and the monocle, sitting there after everyone else has left the park, because, apparently that's what we are, staying at a deluxe resort. That's us, right?
Now I
know what the memes are like already.
Oh, you're already picturing the memes in your like.
You don't think I did that intentionally?
Now I just want to wear a top hat and a monocle to to the evening magic hours. Yeah.
I think
get out of here, peasants.
For Boo Bash.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, you could call the costume entitled DVC member. That's
right.
Yeah. Listen, all the super entitled DVC members are super psyched right now because, there's so many people like, I paid X amount of money. I deserve better things than everyone. That's a lot of
paid for a room.
Yeah.
I know. But so many DVC members feel that way. And listen, I get it. I don't want to besmirch anybody on this. If that's how you feel, that's great. That's fine. But this is one of those things that we're kind of getting because we're DVC members and staying at deluxe resorts. So, it's great. But, to your point, Becky, you were saying, how long is this even going to last? Right. So the morning ones, I believe when they first announced it, it was like a half hour, right? If I remember correctly, they didn't say it in this one, so maybe they changed it. But I think when they initially announced this, it was 30 minutes early. So maybe this is only going to be 30 minutes to an hour. Is that really that big of a deal? I don't think so.
No, and all those guests who are not on property guests and just mess up the tap style, then everybody behind him has to no one's getting anything out of this. It's not that.
I could see people being mad if it was okay, Magic Kingdom is supposed to be open till midnight or 10. Let's say 10 o'clock, and then we're going to close at 7 instead, and then only deluxe resort members can from 7 to 10 go on. That would make me mad.
I agree.
But if we're talking the park was going to close at 10 o'clock anyway, and they're going to keep it open an extra half hour for deluxe resort guests, I'm okay, who cares? Even if I was staying in an all-star resort, I'd be all right, whatever. They paid more than I did. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. That's the thing is if I was staying at an all-stars resort, I wouldn't be mad. I would I'm still at Disney. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And I still got to stay till 10 o'clock at night. I just didn't get to stay till 10:30.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out more details when this, comes closer. But I just, it's funny to me. I understand why people are getting upset though. I really do. Because the whole, like you said, Becky, this is can be a slippery slope, right? So what's next is the paid fast pass where it's okay, so and truthfully, we already have that too, right? The super rich people don't wait for anything because they just go and buy themselves a plaid, and then they cut everybody in line, right? So that already exists in a way, right?
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah, and so you can even have a smaller chunk of that where we end up with paid fast passes that are tier 2, and then the higher the price, the better access you get. I don't know, that could happen. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I feel this is the least concerning thing that they've done as far as specific resort access.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
All right.
So we have this last thing here, which again it's not a Disney World thing. It's Disneyland news, which I don't think we need to talk about it a lot. But so the PCH Grill at Paradise Pier Hotel and Steakhouse 55 at Disneyland Hotel are both permanently closed now.
I put that on there because I was wondering, and Becky, I didn't realize you were a Disneyland person too. So, I mean, is this like a big deal? Like, are people going to be really upset about this?
I'm sad about Steakhouse 55 personally, because that was a fun, like, post-race breakfast. And to be fair, I've only been there 3 times to Disneyland, so but it's all been compressed because, like I said, I've only been going to Disney World or Disney anything as an adult, and since I met my travel buddy, we've just done like a ton of trips in the last 4 years. So it's not like I'm a connoisseur or know anything with history about besides my nerd studying up. But yeah, I'm a little sad on the Steakhouse 55. I wonder, I know you guys mentioned the Steakhouse 71 as a possible like wave retheming.
Yeah.
So it's like, now are they replacing it, or is that's just gone now? Because why would you have one, not the other? I don't know. I don't know how many people will be really mad. I'm kind of bummed because it was a really cool vibe in that restaurant, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's really odd, just Disney in general, to just close restaurants like that and just have no explanation for why and just have no vision for the future, you know?
So I think for both of these restaurants, so Steakhouse 55 and the Disneyland Hotel, I feel this is alluding to, they have some plans for the Disneyland Hotel with the new tower that they're adding on with the DVC rooms and all that. I feel that that's kind of where this is going, is that they're kind of planning for that expansion. The Paradise Pier one was a little more surprising because Paradise Pier honestly it's an awful hotel.
Yes.
The worst Disney hotel I've ever stayed in. And it's because they bought it from a Japanese company. It wasn't their hotel to begin with. They bought it and repurposed it. So I'm surprised that if they're doing any renos there, but I will say the PCH grill, is extremely dated. Like, my personal experience with PCH grill was, that's where they had the Surf's Up with Mickey and Friends character meal. And so that was when we started taking my son to Disney, that was the first character meal we did with him. And, he got to meet Stitch, which was really the only thing that he cared about. And so we have some fond memories of it. But I won't deny that, we went purely for that interaction and my son had a good time with it. But even when we were in there, like we were in there in, 2012 was the first time we went there. And, we walked in there and I was like, wow, this looks like 1995. So,
well, it's funny because the article, all I saw was the sign, and I was like, "Oh, look, that sign looks like it's from the '90s."
Yeah, it's honestly really overdue, and I wonder if that's the main reason why they're closing it, is because it's these resorts just they need a refresh, and I think Disneyland, this could be the sign of there's going to be a bunch of renos coming along Disneyland Boulevard there. That's what I think it is. I think that's what it's hinting at. Yeah.
You think part of like that Disneyland Forward thing that we talked about a couple months ago, that this is maybe the first steps of it.
Yep. That's what I'm
thinking. Sorry, I didn't mean.
I forgot all about that. I agree.
Yeah. It makes sense, right? They close these things ahead of time so that, one, people can kind of get over it, for lack of a better term, and start working on redoing these things.
Well, it's even easier with these because it's not even like they're closing it, it's just they're not reopening it, right? Like it's just like, oh, it's done. It's like we're not going to reopen it, it's been closed, and it's going to continue being closed.
Too much effort.
Yeah. Yeah, Trevor, I think that you made a really good point with the Steakhouse 55 and the tower, the new DVC rooms and everything. That makes at least a little bit more sense than I had no reasoning in my head. It was just a bummer. But like I said, I don't do a ton of sit down, so it really doesn't matter to me.
No, that's totally fair. And yeah, and this is, I think on this show, this is why, we do talk about this stuff is, for some of us, these things do matter. And, I know for a lot of people they will be like, who cares? You know, what's even Steakhouse 55, right? So,
well, you know, yeah, I think the majority of our listeners are WDW people, and there's some Disneyland folks in there. So I think they appreciate when we cover Disneyland items here and there. But
yeah,
you know, this is an interesting one that I just thought it was weird for Disney to just randomly be like, oh, these two things are permanently closed and never reopening, and we're not going to tell you what's going to happen in the future. Like, they're just closed. They're gone.
To be fair, like I said, with PCH Grill, you're not missing
Nope, it's
anything.
good.
Yeah.
Seriously, that sign looks like it's from 1995. Like
the whole restaurant, like you know the carpet, like you know the funky triangles, like the purple triangles that are all like different.
Yeah,
angles.
that's what the sign looks like.
That's what the sign looks like. Like that's the carpet. Like it's the same design on the carpet. It's What
are they doing?
It was like being in an episode of Saved by the Bell.
Oh my god! Oh, it's like the Max.
That's a theme that more people would go to, I think.
Yeah, just replicate the Max. You're good.
Yeah, but that's intentional though. When it's not done intentionally, it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this thing up? I think we're probably way over on time here. So
I think we are because we. It was a bit of a mess there earlier, but
that's how it goes.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. This has been so much fun. This is like my free time is usually spent planning imaginary trips and planning for other people and helping and nerding out on Disney. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate having you on here. So anything you want to plug? Any stuff you want to plug before?
Oh yeah, thanks.
Please do.
I contribute to a blog called notclub33.com, and I will give the heads up that it is really adult content. We don't have any filter on anything we say, so if you want to listen to our podcast or watch our YouTube channel, which is Not Club 33, do not do so with kids around unless they're used to language. So we have a lot of fun with it, but no, there's no holds barred. We just say what we think. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy writing different articles. And I obviously have a kind of a bizarre perspective as someone who didn't grow up going to Disney, but now goes often with or without my 5 kids, and cruise line, Disneyland, Disney World, you name it. I'm trying it. We bought DVC. So yeah, it's notclub33.com, and you can find kind of all of the content there. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and you can find Becky in our group.
Yes.
Yes.
I also make appearances in the group.
Yes. And appearances with Derek in at Disney World, right? So anyway, Trevor, you want to go ahead and wrap us up?
Yeah, of course. So as usual, if you guys ever want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. As you know, Tom said at the beginning of the episode, we, obviously, listeners like Becky will reach out to us via email. We'll, we have a lot of great conversations with you guys. So make sure you drop us a line on there, share your experiences, share your trip reports, or if you have questions, we like all of that stuff being sent to our email address.
I want to mention really quickly, Trevor. So I appreciate all the emails we get sent, and I reply to every single email that is sent. However, usually the reply time is at least a week. So Just want to let everybody know, because we do get a lot of emails, and I do it in the precious free time that I have. So I will respond to every email, but if I don't respond to you within a day or two, please just wait a couple more days. I will respond, I promise.
Yeah, it's not. And yeah, so it's not that, we have a team of people there filtering our emails. Obviously, we're just a couple of guys. So we
need to get a team. We should get a team.
Yeah.
Your PR team.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That person will be busy because I think Damon is also on this podcast. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say what Damon messaged us. Trevor, should we say that, or is it not cool to say? I don't even know. Did you see what he messaged us?
No, I didn't, actually.
Damon got a room upgrade.
Oh.
By dropping the podcast.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I know, right?
All right. So this goes back to Jeremy's thing. Like, don't use the podcast to get free stuff, people.
Unless you're Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
would
feel
never
like
even think to do that ever.
Yeah, I think, I think the thing is, Damon's not one to like throw that out at people. I think it probably,
happened.
Just came up.
I feel like that's going to, I feel like that's if I go to a restaurant and I go, hey, I'm a Yelp reviewer. Okay. Yeah. So, you should probably hook me up. Like,
Damon also has this weird magic about him too. Like he just gets into places and does things that I don't always understand.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying. If you guys want to find us on Facebook, you can always find us as Welcome Home Podcast. If you haven't joined the Welcome Home Disney waitlist, our Facebook group, make sure you guys do. Obviously, lots of great people in there having great conversations. You guys always, you take what we talk about on the show and you expand on it. Everyone brings their own opinions and everyone's respectful, which is a huge thing in my opinion, because, there's a lot of nasty places on Facebook and we're not one of them. So make sure you come check out our Facebook group. And if you want to follow our YouTube channel, it's Welcome Home Podcast. And if you want to follow our Instagram, it's Welcome Home Pics. Again, as we're getting back to actually being able to go on trips more, you're going to start seeing those becoming a little more active. So make sure you subscribe to them. Last but not least, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com for some Welcome Home Podcast logo merch. We also have some new stuff coming, as we mentioned earlier, with the Haunted River Country shirt, which stay tuned. We're hoping that'll be in the next week, or as Tom said, barring any more craziness, it'll be in the next week. And hopefully a Patreon for you guys at some point in the future here as well. So... yeah, so
I feel like we're overthinking the logo thing. I feel like we should just use our old logo. I feel like that would be attractive. But anyway,
I don't.
Anyway, yeah.
I love that. I love that logo. Yeah, I love that logo, but I also don't like that logo.
I hate that logo. I made it. I hate it more than anyone.
Yeah. I like it for nostalgia, but anyway. So back to what I was saying. If you guys want to leave us a review on iTunes or any other service, please do so. We do appreciate it. We like the feedback, constructive feedback as usual. Don't just, one word responses are not great. And obviously if you can leave us 5 stars, that would help. But, any kind of review is good because it honestly helps more people find the podcast anyway.
Always leave us 5 stars. Don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app you can find us. Just search for Welcome Home and look for the one that says DVC and Disney. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsors, DVC Resale Market and Monero, for sponsoring this episode and their continued partnership. Also, a big thank you to Becky for joining us and donating your free time from your family to be on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you. I'll come anytime.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.